The weirdest one-night stand in human history had 8 billion consequences. Imagine this. 50,000 years ago, long before cities, long before kingdoms, long before anyone had ever written a single word, a man was walking through a cold, prehistoric landscape. Somewhere nearby, a woman was doing the same. Neither of them knew it, but the meeting they were about to have would leave a mark on humanity that still exists today. Not for years, not for centuries, for tens of thousands of years. All the way to you. Every person alive today is the result of an almost impossible chain of events. Your parents had to meet, your grandparents had to meet, their grandparents had to meet, and so on. For thousands upon thousands of generations. If even one of those encounters had never happened, you would not exist. Neither would millions of others. History is often shaped by wars, empires, and famous leaders. But sometimes, the most important event in history happens between two completely ordinary people, and nobody notices. Around 60,000 years ago, modern humans began leaving Africa. They spread into unfamiliar lands filled with new animals, new climates, and new dangers. But they weren't alone. Another kind of human was already there. The Neanderthals. For hundreds of thousands of years, Neanderthals had survived Ice Age Europe and parts of Asia. They were strong, skilled hunters, adapted to some of the harshest environments on Earth, and then, one day, they came face to face with us. For generations, scientists assumed the story ended badly. Modern humans arrived. Neanderthals disappeared. Case closed. But in 2010, scientists made a discovery that completely changed our understanding of human history. They extracted DNA from Neanderthal bones and compared it with the DNA of living people. What they found was shocking. Neanderthals were not completely gone. Pieces of them were still alive, inside us. The evidence was undeniable. Most people living outside Africa carry between 1 and 2% Neanderthal DNA. At first glance, that sounds tiny, but think about it. There are more than 8 billion humans alive today. That means billions of people are carrying genetic fragments from encounters that happened tens of thousands of years ago. Ancient relationships that left fingerprints in the human genome, and suddenly, a remarkable picture begins to emerge. Somewhere in the distant past, a modern human and a Neanderthal met. Then another pair, and another. These weren't isolated accidents. They had children. Those children survived. They grew up, had families of their own, and passed those genes forward, generation after generation, until the descendants of those ancient encounters spread across continents. The people involved had absolutely no idea what they were doing. They weren't trying to shape the future. They weren't thinking about genetics, or evolution, or the fate of humanity. They were simply living their lives, trying to survive another winter, trying to find food, trying to protect their families. Yet their choices echoed through time, long after their names were forgotten, long after their bones turned to dust. And here's where the story becomes even stranger. Those ancient genes may still affect you today. Scientists have linked Neanderthal DNA to certain immune system functions. Some genes may have helped our ancestors fight unfamiliar diseases. Others may influence sleep patterns, skin traits, and how our bodies respond to the environment. In a way, parts of our survival toolkit may have come from these ancient relatives. The past is not as dead as it seems. It's literally inside us. But perhaps the most fascinating part of this story isn't the genetics. It's the odds. Think about how fragile this chain really was. One missed meeting, one failed hunt, one dangerous animal attack, one harsh winter, and the entire sequence could have ended forever. No descendants, no family line, no you. Every person alive today is the winner of a survival lottery that lasted thousands of generations. This realization changes how we think about history. We usually imagine history being made by emperors and conquerors, by famous names printed in textbooks, but the truth is often much quieter. The encounter that helped shape billions of lives didn't happen in a palace. It didn't happen on a battlefield. No one built a monument to remember. No one even knew it mattered. Yet its consequences became global. Today, humanity has reached every corner of the planet. We have built skyscrapers, sent spacecraft into deep space, created the internet, mapped the human genome, and despite all our differences, many of us still carry traces of the same ancient story. A story hidden in our DNA. A story that began with a simple meeting between two people in a forgotten world. A meeting so ordinary that nobody noticed it, yet so important that its consequences may now number more than 8 billion. And if you're watching this video, you're part of that story. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more fascinating stories about ancient humans